What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents podcast where I discuss all things music and how it affects my life. And today on my show, I have Austin Archey, drummer of Lorna, man. And this is a great conversation that we have today, man. We talk about what he's doing right now during quarantine, and we also talk about them trying to get home during the beginning of coronavirus and the hellish time that they had getting back from Europe. But before we get started today, man, I just want to say thank you guys for listening to this show, man. If you just listened to this show or any other of my other shows, man, I greatly appreciate you guys listening, man. It means the world to me. And once again, man, if you'd like to be a guest on my show or you'd like to reach out to me and give me a show idea, hit me up on Facebook and Instagram, Blue Presents a Podcast, and on Twitter at @PodcastAtBlue. But before we get started, man, listen to my homeboy AJ Pelletier tell you why you should be listening to the Roads We Travel podcast.
Hey everyone, AJ Pelletier here, and I'm here to talk to you about my podcast, The Roads We've Traveled. It's a podcast where every week I talk to guests and friends from music, art, comedy, and more about their journeys through life, their struggles, their joys, and everything in between. You also get to know a little bit more about me and my journey as well. So if you like podcasts about good conversations about life, or maybe you're just looking to relate to somebody about some things you may be going through as well, then The Roads We've Traveled is the podcast for you. Subscribe to us today on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you guys get your podcasts from. Check us out and subscribe to us on YouTube, and check us out at facebook.com/Roads We've Traveled podcast. All right, everyone. Thanks.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents a Podcast where I discuss all things music. And today, my guest is Austin Archey of Lorna, man. What is going on, man? How you doing today?
I'm good. Sun's shining. I'm happy.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. So before we get started, man, just want to say thank you, man, for coming on. I appreciate you giving me your time today, man.
Hey, got nothing but, you know what I mean?
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. During these times. So my first question usually is, what are your top 5 artists, man? And it kind of gives us an idea of, you know, what are you into? And it doesn't have to be like your latest, or it doesn't have to be like your, you know, all time. It can be your latest and what you're jamming currently, man.
Well, yeah, I was just on a road trip, so I was jamming through a lot of music and shit. Trying to going back and forth between times, but lately, you know, I've been in a very, you know, checking out new bands that are coming out, but definitely there's a band from OKC. I always shout them out because they're one of my favorites. This band Strangled from OKC. Movements just dropped a new record, and I love all their stuff. They're a great band. New Deftones, you know, brought me in, and then, you know, went back and listened to everything else. You know, it's just as good as when it came out years ago. Mm-hmm. That's the top 3, and then the other 2, I've been, you know, I just hooked up my vinyl player recently, and I've been jamming some records, but it's band from Indian Lakes. They're like a more ambient type band. They're really cool. Mm-hmm. And as well as Hundredth just dropped a new record, and all their stuff's amazing. They just changed their sound recently to be more of like a dream poppy, you know, less melodic hardcore. Actually, there's not even a hint of what they used to be in it. No screaming, just singing, but I just kind of mellowing out with that stuff. You know, I've been, you know, trying to write some heavier stuff, and I don't know. I don't like to listen to heavy stuff while I'm writing, because then I get kind of plagued by what they're doing, you know, and I want to like put my creative, you know, mind to trying to draw inspiration from things that aren't heavy and being like, oh shit, like that was really cool. That cadence, I like, you know, kind of bring some ideas to my guitar player and point out some things in songs that might be a little unconventional, you know, to find some cool stuff.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. Especially this day and age in music that we live in, man. It's evolve or die, man, for real. You have to like really change who you are sometimes or what you do. And then, you know, sometimes it works for the best. Sometimes, you know, it just doesn't hit for people. You know what I'm saying? But so, you know, yeah, no worries. So basically the point of my podcast, man, we discuss the journey. We discuss, you know, how did Austin find that this was what Austin wanted to do, be one of the most badass drummers in the world?
I mean, I was brought up, you know, in a music household. My father worked for Gibson Guitars. He was artist relations, and he lived in New York City, still does. But, you know, I had to go see him every weekend. And that's usually when shows are happening that he would have to attend to see his artists. And, they're all big artists, I mean, these were people, you name them, Aerosmith, fucking Black Crowes, anything to Metallica, and all the new metal bands coming up, Static X, Godsmack, they're all playing Gibson. So he would bring me and my brother to those shows. I was really young and just, having that experience, going backstage at a young age. I remember seeing like Kid Rock when I was really young. My dad was really close, with those guys. So yeah, just like being around that atmosphere kind of like brought me in. And then going to like Ozfest with him, 99, 2000, 2001, I was, 7, 8, 9 years old. So that dream was, it's been in my head for a long time. And like, I was a drummer. I started playing when I was I picked up sticks before I could even remember, I see pictures of me. I don't really remember like being 4 or 5 years old, picking up drumsticks, going up to a drum set, but I took lessons when I was 7. And it came pretty naturally. Like we kind of skipped through the whole first 2 years of teaching a little tiny kid how to play drums. I was pretty much already keeping beat, already do your classic AC/DC beats, all that, beginner stuff. And then just went straight to other genres and reading music. So, I was fluently reading music by, 9 years old, 10 years old. And then, the journey took me, I took lessons till I was about 15. And then at that time, I just kind of was like, a rebellious teenager. I just wanted to like hang out with my friends. I didn't want to go to drum lessons. I didn't want to practice all week for the drum lessons. And I was in school band, but like for me, it was such a, it was so easy for me that like I didn't have to practice. I barely went to the after school rehearsals, and I would just still do my thing just because it just came very natural. And there was like a 2-year period where I just like really, maybe even like a year and a half, where I just like did not play at all. It was like 15 to 17, then like a little bit of 15 years old. Like I just didn't play because I was just like, hanging out with friends, hanging out with people that, my town isn't like, there's no, I don't know any musicians in my town that were my age. I just really had no one to connect with, and I was just doing other things, hanging out with skater kids, hanging out with the graffiti kids, and just like doing that. And then, just like got brought into like a band from this area that are called Cabin Theory, and they're all still some of my best friends. But that band played a show with Lorna Shore when I was in the band. Like we all played with Lorna Shore, opened up for them, and then I just became friends with the singer Tom, our old vocalist, and I don't know, we just hung out like every day. Like I would skip school. I was still in high school. I would just like skip school and be like, oh, and I looked up to him a lot, so I'd just be like, oh shit, like this dude wants to hang out with me. Let me go hang out with him. He's in his band. He was trying to hook me up with other bands, like keeping an eye out for me. And then we were just hanging out one day, and then he got the call while we were like just smoking weed in my car, just driving around town. He was like, dude, fucking our drummer quit. I'm like, dude, that sucks, because their drummer was really good. And I didn't even think to like put my like, foot forward and be like, let me do it. That wasn't even a thought. I was like, damn, that sucks. I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do. And he was, what do you mean? You play drums, like step up. And I'm like, I don't know, man. He's like, yo, we got a show Friday, like, and then we have another the following weekend, and then we have a tour, 2 weeks after that for like another 2. He's like, if you can make it happen, like that's your opportunity. So I just like, just completely surrounded myself with their music that I needed to learn. I would go to school, pop in my headphones, not pay attention to class. And then eventually I was like, all right, whatever. It was starting to become a distraction to the other students. It was becoming a distraction to the teacher. They didn't really understand what I was doing and how important it was. And like, looking back on it, like that's the best decision I could have ever made. Cause now 8 years later, I'm in the same band. We have albums out. We're on a big label, a lot of praise. I would never thought this day would come, to be honest with you, especially as a death metal drummer, just because I didn't play death metal until Lorna Shore, and like just kind of just adapted to what Adam D'Amico, our still current guitarist, what he wanted in the band. And I don't know, I'm just like a chameleon kind of, if I surround myself with enough music that someone wants, to be written, or like wants me to sound like, if I just listen to that type of music for like a week, it's going to be kind of in my brain. And then, yeah, we just took it from there. And now, 8 years later, like I said, I'm 26 now, joined the band when I was 18. Still a long way to go in my eyes. We've just kind of reached, through the ceiling. We're kind of taking off a little bit. This time right now has really hindered a lot of things, but we're just getting more
I was going to ask, how are you dealing with that? Now that the fact that we, basically everybody's at a standstill, shows aren't kind of really popping off right now. How are you finding you're spending your time dealing with this? Before we got started, you were talking about writing. Well, when you were talking about writing some music and stuff. Is it just that? As I understand, you also have a clothing line as well too. Are you working on both those things simultaneously right now?
Yeah, I spread myself pretty thin. I'm working on fucking 10 things at once, like here and there. Like, I'm not going to say I'm just at home writing music all the time, because, like, to be honest, like, it's been very hard to, like, get inspiration when you don't really know what you're working towards. It's like, all right, like, usually you put out an album and it's like, all right, for that album, we're going to have a tour and we want to tour with these bands. It's like, I don't even know who's going to be touring when this is over. I don't know what tours are going to be like. I don't know how we can go about releasing music, not on tour. So it's just really just, whatever comes to naturally that day. Like, it could be like the beginning of quarantine, I was like doing more hip hop stuff. And then started collaborating with a few other people. Brandon, he brought me to me and him were working on some new metal shit, some alt rock. And then, but aside from that, like, I've just been focusing more on photo and video work. Cause that ties into the clothing brand. I can, do my own, promotions. I can do my own marketing. And, then I started, I would think, I would like to thank Worm Shepherd for sure for letting me be a part of their whole album rollout process. Cause, we did a few videos with them. They're all not out yet, but I did some stuff with them, just finished up. And then I was just working on another band's, guitar playthrough. So yeah, just some stuff like that, like stuff that like takes some time and some preparation that like usually I'm like so on the go that I can't like, promise someone a deadline or something, because I got a lot of shit going on. So
well, yeah, like I said, I appreciate you working with me today, man. For real, I know it seems busy. And anybody hasn't seen that Worm Shepherd doc, I think you did really good, because I was telling Devin, who was on my show last week, my favorite part of that was how you focused in on his natural raw vocals. And then just waiting a couple seconds after hearing that and hearing everybody in the room go, "Oh shit," it was like, it was pretty awesome.
That's the reaction, it was cool. And I like to give a younger band like that kind of platform, because it's like that's important, and it's been important to Lorna Shore to like be, people, not just like entities. I want people to approach us and like, tell me if I'm doing something good, tell me if I'm doing something wrong. Like, either way, like, I respect someone giving their opinion and time to me, as long as it's, not just
hating.
I mean, you can hate as long as it's justified, but some people will just say things just to say things, and, I'll kind of brush it under the rug. But if someone has a valued opinion, and put some thought into it and like can get me to think, differently about what I'm doing, like, I'll always respect that. But yeah, no, it's been cool. I definitely, fell in love with videography and photography more during this time. My girlfriend now, she's a photographer. Like, we just love, we'll just go out and take pictures. Sometimes we're just on a trip. We both had our cameras in our hands, just like going back and forth with ideas. She's super creative, so she's definitely like sparked my creativity to want to like push the boundaries a little bit, because she's always like pushing boundaries and stuff with her work and trying to do different shit than what anyone's doing. So yeah, I'm just kind of relying on the people close to me to like, push the, because I have like my brothers in a band with my buddy Brett, who's like my videography guru, and he let me film their music videos for them, and they're not out yet, but they're all some of the coolest fucking things I've been a part of. So yeah, we're all just kind of, at least in my circle, at home, I have all my touring friends, we all talk to each other and reach out to each other, but my core group of friends at home, we all are keeping each other up for sure and checking in on each other. Everyone's going through weird ass shit aside from the whole virus.
Yeah.
Going shit mentally and personally, and, fighting at different types of battles every day. So I think it's important to like, just be there for everyone. Cause when you have a job, places to go to at night, you have a little bit of a distraction in your life. Now we just sit inside all day. So like, your mind wanders and you start thinking about, what the fuck am I doing in my life? I mean, I definitely did that as well. Thinking shit, I picked a profession that is affected almost the most right now, like, and that hurts for sure. Like at first it was like, all right, no one's at work. This sucks. But now like seeing other people go back to work, states opening up bars and restaurants and, Disneyland's open, everything's open, but you still play a show. And it's like, damn, man, like that hurts a lot for sure.
I think that's one of those things that, like, I think this year, if anything, I think it's a time to sit back, kind of look at things and kind of see what you could be doing differently, because, I think one of the more interesting things about this time is how we diversify what we do, because like you said, a lot of things are being affected here, and music is being affected so much. Not only that, we're talking about venues, we're talking about artists, we're talking about people who, put together these awesome kick-ass tours. They're all being affected by this moment. But it does seem like you're keeping busy with the videography and the clothing. So let's talk a little bit about the clothing line, which is Love Crime. And man, you've got some really unique pieces. You even got my wife talking about, which one she wants already. Talk about that inspiration, because it does seem like, I was going to ask you about your hometown, but it doesn't sound like, your hometown doesn't really have a thing. It seems like New York kind of influenced some of that. Did you get some of that fashion design as well too from being in the New York area and kind of seeing how everyone's so unique looking over there?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think, my dad's side of going to the New York City and like going down to St. Mark's Place, trash in vaudeville, seeing people really just, it's funny that in New York, you could walk on the street and see 10 people, they all look different. You don't know what anyone's story is. And you don't even like question it, around Jersey, like if you dress a little different, if you look a little different in certain parts, like, you're going to look, and probably 90% of the state, you're going to get looked at a little differently. Mm-hmm. But, my goal is to definitely get to a more extreme level and like definitely doing some really unique stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of staying in my lane right now and just doing what I know through the band and putting out merch. Like, all right, I've seen how much, how profitable and how nice it is to, and the fulfillment of seeing people wear our merch. I was like, well, maybe I could do that for myself, because I love fashion. I'm wearing a gray champion hoodie because my dog's got gray hair and I don't want gray hair all over my black clothing. But I got some, I have so many ideas. It's like an endless fucking well. I'm just trying to figure out like the game plan of like what people are ready for, what sells the best. And like right now it's like still the experimental period of just seeing like, what sizes sell the most, what do people usually buy the quickest, what do people go for? And yeah, like I'm just trying to like do something that's not like just a dude in the band trying to profit off, a clothing brand. Like I just want people to wear it. Like I haven't made $1 off the clothing brand. Any dollar I make, I reinvest to put it on better, items of clothing or, more quantity, mm-hmm. colorways. I got a new hoodie and I think a shirt that I'm going to drop later in the month. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like I'm just trying to keep it, trying to build it slow because like, it's an investment and like, I don't want to blow my investment. I want to keep the money where it's at. And like the moment I get to a certain point, then I know I'll step up. You can do anything. Like there's cut and sew options where you can literally customize the sizing, the fitting, the prints. Mm-hmm. And like, I look at a lot of those brands that are like small right now and take a lot of influence and analyze what they're doing. And I think because right now, like a lot of things have been popping up, I haven't been so diligent on the clothing line front, but that's just because I feel bad taking people's money right now. Like I don't want to like just be putting out merch after merch. Not that like people are going to be like, I need this, but like I want people to be comfortable in buying the stuff so that, they want to wear it. Not like, oh shit, I just spent $50 on this hoodie and now I can't eat for this week. So I'm kind of low this year on it because I don't want to like bombard people with, spending money, and I don't want to profit off people that are struggling. So definitely just take it slow and whatever sells. Like I'm grateful for it. People that support me understand that that's probably my only source of income right now is the clothing brand. So yeah, like I'm just doing smaller drops, but hopefully by next year I can really go. I could do next year what I wanted to do this year, but I definitely, took a step back just with the climate of the world right now.
Yeah, man, it's kind of difficult because there's so much back and forth, and you want to make sure that people can get something new and feel good. Because to be honest with you, I feel like certain people, getting something new, like a new shirt or something, that can be kind of exciting, especially now when you've got next to nothing really going on. A new shirt for me, which is like once in a blue moon, I feel good about it. Me and my wife got some Pet Cemetery t-shirts, and we were like so amped about them because we're like, for everyone, horror is just this month. For us, horror is every month. You know what I'm saying? We love that stuff. So we were super excited to get these like shirts that were really nice and stuff like that. But I think you're one of those artists that's doing it right, man. You're totally looking out for everyone, man. And like I said, you're covering every aspect. You're not just keeping yourself resigned. And it just speaks to your talent, your ability to keep going in a time where everybody is just there's so many artists and people I feel bad for right now who are just at a standstill, or we're just on that cusp of popping. So let's talk a little bit more about Lorna Shore, man. You guys, even though the world is the way it is, you guys have had a huge 2020, man. Speak to that and this well-reviewed Immortal album, man. Like I think you guys really put yourselves, you guys were on the map before. I think you guys just put your foot in it and said, we're here to stay with Immortal, man. Talk about that. Talk about how you're dealing with that. And the fact that, unfortunately the world went the way it went, but you guys are still getting love for real.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see people still talking about the album, even though it's weird to think that it came out in January this year, Yeah, and like every merch drop we've been putting up, that we've been keeping up on, like, selling out in like an hour, 2 hours, it's like we can't even keep up. We have to constantly restock, which is nice. But yeah, I think that was the point of Immortal, was like, because we went through the singer change, with Tom leaving the band, and like people thought that was going to be the end of the band. So Immortal really spoke to just like our feelings of like, I think we're a household name. We're going to like stay in the scene for as long as, our hearts are in it, as long as we still care about making the music we're making, we're going to keep pushing it. And I don't know, it's like, it's nice to know that like the world has gone this way and like we're still relevant. Like people are still pumping the music, still caring about what we're doing. It's just been weird to like not be able to tour or play those songs live. And then like, it's also hard to promote the record as we wanted to because of the controversy. So it's like we're kind of like taking more selfish approach where it's like, talking about our part on the record, as in me and Adam, because me and Adam were the ones that were only the ones that were a part of the record. Mm-hmm. So like I have some drum videos that are coming out soon. I was hoping they'd be up by now, but gotta wait, for all the people think it's so easy to just release things. It's like, no, it's got to get sent here. They got to approve this. They got to send it here, and da. It's a long chain of command. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I got some fucking next level playthroughs. Definitely the sickest shit I've done on that. So yeah, I'm just excited to give light to the record differently. Let people hear it instrumentally. Hopefully soon. We've been trying to get the instrumentals out for a bit now, and then but yeah, I mean, it's just been nice to like know that everyone has our back, despite whatever happened. Like people still enjoy the record. I'm still proud of the record. Me and Adam worked very hard on it, and going forward, we're just going to do our thing like we've always done. I mean, that was definitely a challenging record to write, being just two people. We've always been the two people to write the music in the band, but like it's nice to have other people with their opinions chime in and like kind of like give a little. But when it's just me and him, it gets a little, it can get a little stagnant. Mm-hmm. But that's our producer, our buddy Josh, and like he always kind of sees our creative like flow and like just tackles like certain aspects of it and lets us like try different ideas that we probably thought were stupid or like whatever, or he'll just put something forward like, yo, I just made this crazy fucking Super Bowl intro. And I think this is going to be sick. And we're like, all right, that is sick. So let's just work with that and like keep it rolling. So yeah, like Lorna Shore, like we're just, trying to figure out what the next step is. Touring's not going to happen this year. Playing a show is not going to happen this year. So just got to find different things to do and be creative and do the online, kind of like to take the internet band approach to music and just put up playthroughs, put up merch, do some podcasts like I've been doing. Like, I like doing these because it gives me a chance to talk about what's going on. It kind of makes me feel like I'm doing something when I sit around all day. I'm like, all right, it's another day. But no, it's definitely weird because we're such a touring band and like we thrive off touring. Like we love touring, we love playing. So not being able to do that definitely hurts the most. It's not like I'm like, oh yeah, I was sick of touring. Like I'll never be sick of it, but it's definitely given all of us a bit of a reality check of our home life. I've been taking care of myself very well this quarantine.
But with everything you guys are doing right now, man, or when the album came out earlier this year, I thought it was probably one of my most favorite heavy albums that's come out in some time, man, and really just put so much emphasis on your atmosphere, not it just being the heaviest record, but the atmosphere was like super crazy good. What was the concept behind that, man? What this record to me sounded so big sound wise. Was that both you guys just coming in saying we want to do this? Was that you saying, hey man, I just want something different? What was the thought process in doing that?
I mean, my guitarist Adam, he's always looked up to bands that have that sound. It's just we've never had the time and never really had the ability with the producer to like have the time with him to like create that much atmosphere on a record. So had a lot of extra time, and like going into it, we knew we wanted more of that element because we kind of our toes in it with Flesh Coffin. Psalms just like didn't really hit that mark. Like that was more of us just like learning how to like write an album. It was our first, but yeah, this one, it was just like, I just wanted to, every song, like how would it sound if we played on this giant stage? Cause we are a bigger band than at that point. So back then we were writing for, all right, let's, what's going to make 100, 200 kids pop off? Let's write more mosh parts, more, heavy chaos shit. This was more like, all right, if there's a distance of people, what's going to keep everyone engaged? And I think the atmosphere and just the kind of bigger sound approach just gave the whole record an overall, it gave it more of a sound to the whole record. And doing that on each song, usually like we'd have one song or two songs a record that has that big sound, but we wanted to apply that across the record. And then the atmosphere, like as far as just like the mood, I mean, that's just, that kind of just, Adam channels those things. Like he'll just come up with, melodies to put behind riffs or any part on the record. And, I'd like to say it's just a creative reflection on like just our mood at the time. Like, we were in the middle of winter in Michigan, just us two, both of us pretty miserable, fun making music, but like it was overall a very hard time for both of us, like personally.
Yeah, man.
So that's just really just a reflection of like all the feelings that were just going through everyone's head, and kind of just like in some weird other dimensional retrospect, that's kind of just our feelings just layered over fast kick drum and yeah, great.
No, I will say on this record, I mean, obviously, Psalms, Flesh Coffin, your drumming was exceptional. I feel like on this one, your drumming is to a whole nother level. Every hit is with a purpose on this record. So talk about, did you feel like you had to like, when you were hearing what he was coming up with, where you were like, yo, I got to step my drumming game up? Do you feel like you had to get your game up some more? Or did you feel like, yo, I got this. This is what it's going to be?
Writing really does come natural. Like when he shows me something, I go with my first thought. I'll always put it down. And then sometimes I'll either overcomplicate or dial it back. I was kind of just picking my moments. Like, when do I really want to like if the guitars aren't so complicated, maybe it's time for me to step up. If the guitar's really complicated, maybe give him some room. And if there's a part that's, sounds like it'll be vocally driven, then I don't want to overcomplicate it. So I think just going through the motions of each record and writing process, I just wanted to complement the music, not, have it be the Austin Archey show. Cause like we hear bands like that. Some of them do it great. Some people really think in that mind and like, that's just their style. But I think I just wanted to have a more traditional, black metal, death metal, approach to most of the drumming. And then just doing my thing, like, like here and there, just like, and by my thing, I think I just mean like switching it up, not making it so, one noted. Cause like, I mean, I love every band that does that, like there's Elfagor, like they just blast beat every part and it's amazing. It's the sickest band. But, for me personally, I know my abilities, I couldn't do that, even if I wanted to, like I couldn't blast beat for 45 minutes. So in a way, it's all like just knowing my skill, knowing my threshold. And like, if I need to downplay, at least still make it interesting. But definitely Immortal is like my favorite drumming record, playing wise, writing wise. I think going forward, I do have things I want to do on the future releases that I didn't do on Immortal. And that might be, and it's not even like overcomplicating, it's just making things a little more like I've just like been watching a couple different drummers that have, like, they're all older, but like they just had such a sick sound, like with some of their fills and just like random shit like that. So it's like, I just want to channel some of those guys and, pay homage to like some of the OG, like Nick Barker and, Hell and all those dudes and just like, yeah, just like try and just continue that legacy of drumming. It's like, I don't call it copycatting because like, they did it best. What I do is just, it's a new version of it, but like go listen to any Dimmu Borgir, any Cradle or, Behemoth record. I mean, they did it better. They'll do it better than we will ever do it, but like still gonna try like forever.
No, man, in those some of those records, I think back when I was in high school and stuff, listening to those records and thinking how the grandeur of it. I can definitely see some of the inspiration from a band like, Demi in some of what you guys did on this record. But I also feel like, if anything, I feel like you guys provided like an operatic kind of deal to a style that usually sometimes really doesn't have it, or certain people don't really see like this version of music kind of giving it that artistic atmosphere, the outlook on it and everything. I think a song like King of Deception is just one of those songs that shines so well because of your drumming and playing. And then you get the visual of a music video of it. And I just think you guys nailed it. The dark look, you guys looking like fabulous in suits and shit. You know what I'm saying? You guys are looking like some OGs. And then the darkness of the whole video of it, and just thinking, every note on that song, pretty much the whole record, done with a purpose and stuff like that. So, obviously we know we're not playing any shows anytime soon, man. Have you guys thought about doing anything like live stream wise or anything like that? I see a couple of bands are kind of doing that. Has that been a thought, or somebody approached you guys about that yet?
Yeah, we've had like the label want us to get in on like they were doing like a Century Media sort of like series, but like, it's weird for us because we technically do not have a vocalist. So it's like, what do we do? Do we have the guy who filled in for us in Europe do it? And then, he might not be in the band or whatever it might be. Like, then it gets people confused or questioning, what's really going on with the band. So, yeah, I mean, we have some like ideas of what we could do, but nothing that's going to happen like that soon. Mm-hmm. It happen late this year or very early next year. And if we do it, we want it to be like a big thing. Like, it's not just going to be like us in a room. Like, we want to do have a full production, full light show, full stage setup, props, really just like spend the money and go all in on it, mm-hmm. which takes time, takes planning, takes a lot of people involved. So yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. It just has to be done right. And we have to be certain that whoever is a part of that is going to be with the band for a long time. So, and, we kind of, eyes are on us, so it's not like we could just do it and be like, all right, yeah, whatever. Like, if we do that, like people are going to want to tune in. People are going to want to see who's on the mic. So, so yeah, it's got to be, I got to be really confident in it. So, I'm hoping we could do something like that. It would be very cool. Definitely would make me, it's not a show, but like I would love to play for, if anything, we could play one show that people can tune in around the world to. So that's a cool concept for me. Yeah, hopefully maybe the end of the year or like early next year when we have a few other things kind of hashed out and figured out.
So my question to you is, you guys still looking for a vocalist? Because, obviously, with the news media, you hear rumors that, this person is being looked at or this person is being looked at. It sounds like you guys still haven't settled on who you want to do vocals. If someone were interested in doing vocals, how would they reach out to you? Maybe it's somebody you guys aren't looking at that, wants to step up for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, the guy we brought to Europe, he did a great job. He's definitely still in the mix. It's just, we're kind of, it's like, I don't know how urgent it is at this moment. At that time, it's like, all right, we need someone for this tour. And if this year didn't, definitely have a vocalist in place with the band, permanently. But so it's not really that urgent. If someone wanted to reach out, I mean, they could just, reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook and, put their best foot forward and we can talk about it, whether I can just tell them, hey, good job, this is sick or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we're still working with that guy, like he's a friend, he's a good friend of mine. So like, he lives 30 minutes from me. So he's still in the loop. He still hangs out with us. We're all kind of, we had that nightmare of an experience trying to get home from Europe with him. So like, it's a bit of a bonding experience. So like, the fact that he was there, made it easy on us, didn't like become a negative Nancy about it all. He was very positive and kind of just being a team player. And like, I really respected that. And I think that showed a lot about his character. So definitely, hopefully things will work out with him. If not, maybe we'll post something again about it. But, we kind of want to just keep it within our circle of like, the people we talk to, the handful of people and just kind of see who's the best fit.
Yeah. Makes sense, man. So yeah, let's talk about that trip in Europe, man. So what exactly happened? Once again, you get bits and pieces here, man, about, what happened. So what was the happening, or what can you talk about happened with that trip getting back?
I mean, it was just kind of weird, going there. Like we kind of had a feeling that things were going to kind of get shitty because things were getting shitty. It was like right at the beginning of like, at least the public knowledge, obviously it was a thing like, in China and like, Wuhan and Italy but getting there, it wasn't even a requirement to wear a mask on the plane at that time, but we all did wear them because we were just like, okay,
let's stay safe. Yeah.
But like, we didn't wear masks, at the shows. We didn't wear masks, in the bus. We weren't really even that concerned, and no one else in those cities were concerned. It just all really kind of came abrupt, like one day. Played Glasgow. Yeah, it was Glasgow. Or no. We played Netherlands, and that's when the president got on and said, travel ban starting, Saturday or whatever day it was, and international flights will be banned, this, that, and the thing. And we were like, this is real. Like, fuck, like, we got to get the fuck out of here. So we still played like 2 more shows because like we were just on the road. We weren't anywhere close to an airport. We were just losing money. We already lost a shitload of money to like not do the rest of the tour. So it was like, but we were only U.S. band. Like there was one member of Decapitated, their fill-in drummer, Ken Badine. He's from San Francisco, but so there's 5 Americans on the tour. Everyone else can kind of just drive from where we were to home. But then once it became hard for even them to get home, that's when everyone kind of started freaking out. Like, oh shit, like, oh, Decapitated can't go back to Poland if they don't get home this day. And like, even when they do, got to get searched and this, and they got to stay home for 2 weeks. And oh, these guys got to do this. And it was just like a big mess. So that kind of consumed the whole tour, energy. And like, we were all kind of playing shows just like with not even being able to really have fun. Cause like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know how to get home yet. I don't even have a flight booked. Like the shit's about to end in 2 days and I got to get home. But we got flights out of London because London wasn't a part of the mainland Europe, and London was still like open to like fly home from. So yeah, we just got a flight. It was like 2 days after like we left the tour, so we had to spend 2 days in a hotel, and then yeah, luckily we got on the plane all right, got off the plane okay, and fucking by the time we got home, it was like definitely felt a little bit defeated, but like at that time, it was just like I didn't even think I was gonna make it home. So like I was just thankful to be home. But then once the like reality set after a few days, like damn, like I should be in Switzerland today. Like this sucks. And then seeing the world fall apart for months and months after, and then the virus was the thing. Then the police, and the rioting and the killings. It's like it was just blow after blow after blow staying at home. And I'm like, man, the world is just in a sad fucking place right now, and like definitely like eats at you and shit. But we just tried to, stay positive, and, we all kind of just like, we're like, all right, fuck music for a few months. Like, let's just be human beings and stay at home and do our thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a reality check, and definitely a very humbling experience, to say the least, for sure.
No, I'm sure, for being so consistently on the road, and then you guys put out this fucking mammoth album, and I'm sure you're expecting to be huffing it and going from place to place to place to now to the point where you're just sitting back, man. I just think, in a couple of years, we will appreciate this time that we have now, and we'll probably look back on it and just remember that one time we were all stuck in the house, you know what I'm saying? And
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. With so much, negativity in the world, I know for me, being a person who has kids and stuff like that, and just trying to help my kids get through these things, man, it can be difficult. It's just, it is what it is, man. And we really have to just remember that we're all human beings. We love each other, no matter what you look like, no matter what your political affiliation is, man, we're all human beings. And, this is like I said, this is a time to sit back and reflect and think about what's the next thing for you. What's the next moment? What are you going to do after this? And I think you guys, to be honest with you, I think people are still going to be clamoring to want to hear Immortal live. You know what I'm saying? People are going to want to hear that record in its entirety. So I just, so many different things, man. And like I said, I feel so bad for so many different friends of mine. I'm sure you feel the same way about friends of yours and stuff like that. And even though it does seem like you're still going with that. So, man, I don't even know where to go from there, man. That just kind of hit me, man. Just thinking about, I couldn't imagine being stuck in it. Like, I'm thinking about me being here with my kids when all of this popped up. I can't imagine being in another country thinking, how the fuck do I get out of here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, scary, man. Definitely a lot of different decisions had to be made really, really, really quickly, because, the band didn't have American currency in the bank to even get home, like all we had was like European currency. And you can't buy an online plane ticket with cash money, and then there's no bank to put the money in. So like we had to like call a bunch of different people, get loans from this person to pay when we get home, and da 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 da. And like this is all in like 24-hour span to like get that figured out. Luckily, we have a manager who's like on top of it, because we're also in Europe where our cell phones don't really work that great. Our family members are very concerned about us, reading about what's going on. So like there's just a world of worry, surrounding us, our loved ones, and just luckily being with each other was fine. Like we were all like really like, we're going to figure this out type energy, but it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. Like it was definitely, some of us dealt with it easier than others. Some of us are a little more scared of getting sick. Me, I'm like, whatever, fuck it. But like, other people in my band, definitely scared. I mean, my guitar player, Andrew, he got corona when we got home. He tested positive, so wow. He was convinced he got it through the trip home at some point, and the rest of us were fine. It's just weird, like exactly, 4 people that have traveled together, one person got it, and then he has to go home to his family, and he has older parents. His dad's a doctor, so like he couldn't leave his room for like almost a month.
Wow.
And like he was in some like Dexter like plastic wrapped doorway, like putting through the doorway type deal. So felt very bad for him. But once he cleared up, he came over, we started, hanging out and shit. So
yeah, it's a difficult thing, man. We don't know how this virus moves, and I think that's the part that's kind of hard. We didn't, especially when this first popped off, you didn't know who was more susceptible, who were you more scared of. And I think now, it seems like, even though things are still kind of going and moving, it does seem like people have a more lax opinion about it and whatever the case is. But I just say, let's just keep each other safe. I work at a job where, I'm in constant contact with the public, and I always keep myself masked up and ready to go, man. But this is a lot of sad stuff, man. So let's talk about some happy stuff, man, because I'm getting kind of sad. It's just a little sad, man. But,
times.
No, it is what it is, man. Like I said, I think at some point in a few years down the road, when you guys are busting it out on tour, you're just like, remember that one time, I had to stay in my room, you know what I'm saying, or stay at home and stuff like that, and we'll be better people for it, man, for sure. So, it's almost the end of the year, man. Even though it's October, everybody's kind of looking forward to that. What are you hoping for next year, man? With everything going as crazy, man, and some people even talking about shows might not even return back till 2022.
Yeah. Well, if that was the case, I would still look forward to just, at least if shows aren't coming back, to just never hear the words quarantine. And in my life, hopefully we'll have a better president. Hopefully, things will start looking up on that front. And yeah, and maybe like the sights will be, set on other things like, taking care of the environment, everyone staying clean, people practicing better hygiene, more, because like, even the way things are, like, standing 6 feet back from people, like, all right, maybe 6 feet's a lot, but like when we return to shit, people shouldn't be breathing on each other's fucking necks. We should respect each other's shit. The places should be sanitizing and wiping things down constantly. So hopefully this will teach the world to just take those precautions, so that things like this can't happen again. But yeah, aside from just wanting things to go back to normal, for next year, I'm just looking forward to just kind of just doing what I'm doing. I'm just, having a good time being home, for the most part. I luckily have a great girlfriend. She's very fun. We have a lot of fun together. We do a lot of fun things. We keep each other, level-headed and happy and shit. So, keeping that relationship alive, doing some spontaneous things I usually can't do because I'm always on tour. Mm-hmm. And then writing music with different people, different genres, maybe expanding, my horizons, across different platforms, different climates of music. And yeah, just kind of doing some leveling up on everything I've spread myself on, get better at video, get better at photography, graphic design, clothing line. It's all things that are all working. So as long as I keep working throughout this year, I'll definitely be in the best position, by next year to do anything I want to do. And, maybe my health will, keep going the way it's going, and lose some weight, feel good, trying to feel better about myself, practice some self-love, read some more books about this shit. And, it's all good stuff. It's all self-improvement. I think up until we can tour again, and even past that, but at least, up until then, like, I just really want to just improve myself, so that when we do hit the road again, I got the best mindset, I got the best, feeling days that I have, instead of just feeling like shit, eating like shit, sleeping like shit, waking up just everything shit type life. Maybe just take a bit of a healthier approach for myself with touring, rather than just being like, all right, this is just how it has to be. You got to be miserable. You got to not shower. You got to not take care of yourself. You do this. Like, nah, you could make it a bit easier on yourself, and like, at least take care of yourself, so that at least when you get home, it's not such a shock. Like, oh shit, like, I'm home. Like, what is this shit? Like, a lot. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do with myself when I got home.
No, that's what's up, man. So I just want to thank you, man, for coming on today, man, and talking with me. And before we get out of here, man, let's promote this clothing line, man. And so if you're looking for what Austin does, man, hit up lovecrimessupplyco.com. And it's the same thing on Facebook and Instagram, Love Crime Supply Co., man. Thank you, Austin, for coming on, man. I really, really appreciate it, man, for real.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
For real.